Flo Arm Hangout episode number 400.
At least.
We are up to almost 700 subscribers now. Massive influx. Hoping to be monetized soon. We're going to have a couple special guests on here tonight. Hoping to have the man himself, Kong, promoting his tournament this weekend. We're also going to have Tim Lewis hopping on. And then we're going to go over some other things. Got super match coming up this weekend at Flo Arm. Got a big tournament. Couple fun things going on. Let's see.
Come on, baby. Show me. Why are they not popping up? I'm trying to get the stream sent out to everything, but it's not there.
There's a picture on Jerry Cataret's story of Jim Coyle, it looks like, and Jerry, and he does. Maybe that's not Jim Coyle. Maybe it's just some other gray-haired guy, but I was going to say he looks huge if that's him. All right. Tim is waiting in the chat. We are going to have Tim come on here. We're going to discuss his career, his preference towards super matches, a couple other fun things. We'll get him on in just a minute. Feel free to shoot the link to whoever else needs it, John.
Do what?
Feel free to shoot the link to anyone else that needs it. All right. We'll get right into it. We waited long enough for this episode. Without further ado, we are going to introduce the man of many super matches. Quite possibly has more super matches than anybody in arm wrestling history. And new to the channel, Tim Lewis. What's up, Tim? How you doing, buddy?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we do. It looks like you are. All right, your service is all right there.
Yeah, I'll be home in like 20 minutes. I mean, I'm on the highway. I'm just coming back from work. So.
Yeah. So let's talk about, because here at Flo Arm, we have a different format to our tournaments. The way we do it here is it is single elimination. Every round is a best of 3 or best of 5. So you just have a standard bracket that is going in super matches down to 1 winner. Very, very different.
So are there still? So wait a minute. Are there still weight classes?
Yes,
or
still weight classes.
There are.
Still weight classes. So let's say we get 8 198 guys. These 8 198 guys will be seeded by weight. The top 2 will face off in a best of 3, best of 5.
What do you mean seeded by? What do you mean seeded by weight?
So simply the heaviest man at the top, lightest man at the bottom of the bracket.
Okay, so you're not seeding it based on like Airy score or like ability. It's all just based on what they actually weighed in.
What they actually weighed in at. And so if you have 8 guys in the class, we do a best of 3. Each round will be best of 3. So you have 8 men go to 4, 4 go to 2, 2 goes to your champion.
Okay. And then when did you say it was best of 5? Like you said
it'll be best of 5 if there's 4 or less in the class.
If there's 4 or less in the class.
Yeah, if there's 5 or more, we go to a best of 3.
So is this a guy like you, all the FAL events that are doing this? Or is this all tournaments in Florida? Or clarify what you said, like who's doing this?
Sure, it's just us, just FLO ARM COMBAT. FAL is still doing a standard double elimination, just like always. And we're still doing some double elimination, but this is the format we're using over here. You end up getting a ton of arm wrestling for your money. You end up getting redemption on the guy that flashes you. And it favors to the super match pullers, the endurance-based guys.
Okay.
So that being said, what do you think of it?
I think it's different. And, one of the segments of this, and I guess we can just cover this one right now since we're talking about it now, is, why do I prefer like a super match format to, like a regular tournament? Okay. So some of those things don't have anything really to do with the differences you're talking about, and some do. So the ones that don't are like when you have a super match, when you plan a super match or challenge match or whatever you want to call it, like you're basically kind of agreeing mutually to who your opponent is going to be in advance. You know, whatever it may be, a month out, 3 months out, whatever. So you have an opportunity to kind of study that opponent, get an idea of, you know, who they pulled before, stylistically, you know, what they're going to do, maybe establish a game plan. And if it's a big enough match, maybe train directly for that person. Whereas at a tournament, you might kind of have an idea like who might be there. But the reality is you don't know until that day who's going to show up. And even if they do show up, like whether they're going to like maybe cut to 198 if they walk around at 205, or maybe not care and do the 220s. And then that being said, even if they are in the class, you might not even draw them, or you might not draw them fresh, or you might draw somebody else. So that's one thing that for me, I like about the super matches is it kind of, you know what you're getting and you find out who's better that day. You know, the second element is, you know, not all the time, but like, you know, I would say most of the time there's like some kind of money bet involved. So, you know, travel, you know, it adds up. You know, you're doing this stuff like once, twice a month. You know, I like to be able to say, like, look, if I at least win my match, like, I'm at least going to like pay for, you know, my gas and hotels and like whatever it costed me, you know. And I mean, you know, sometimes you're going to lose, whatever. But, you know, a lot of times the tournament doesn't have that option. Like, you know, there isn't really prize money, or like maybe it's first place only, or, you know, and then, you know, okay, like if it's $100, well, you know, it cost me $250 to go. Okay. So that's part of it. But the other part of it, I think, maybe what you're doing does fix. And, you know, that is like, say you do get the match you want now. Okay. Well, in a tournament, like, it's just one and done.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, if you maybe elbow foul or like guess wrong at what somebody's going to do, or like make maybe like a minor mistake in the match, you might be like hitting yourself over a loss, but like realistically being like, look, like if this was, you know, a best out of 3 or a best out of 5 or whatever, like I could have done something different. But if it's a tournament, you know, that's it.
Well, here's one good thing. Here's a beautiful thing that this format offers. Let's pretend me and you have a super match, right? We don't want to pull the tournament. Maybe we're not sure because we have wear and tear on us from the super match. All we have to do is seed me and you as the first matchup in the bracket. And now we have exactly the same amount of wear on our arms as everyone else. You're able to put your main event matches in the tournament. They would just be the first match.
Oh, okay. Now, what do you mean by that? So I thought you said you were doing this based on weight.
You are.
Are you telling me that you like can make exceptions to this? Like, you know, if so and so wants to do a super match, instead you could like guarantee that they're going to pull first in this tournament.
Absolutely.
See, I like that.
Yeah, because then let's say me and you have a war. We go to the 5th match. These guys still had to have a war too before we faced it. So it doesn't end up where basically they all had a bye while we had a lot of wear from the super matches. It's all very even, and it allows you to incorporate super matches into the tournament. The betting aspect, I want to ask you, are you a betting man? You seem to like to bet on these matches.
Yeah. I mean, usually my super matches, I mean, they'll range anywhere from the low end, maybe like $100 to $150. And, you know, kind of my max is 500. Like, I really don't feel, you know, really more comfortable with that. I mean, one time I did 750 just because like somebody was like flying, I think from Boston, but that was like even a little bit out of my comfort zone. But most of them are like $200-300.
Yeah, one thing I found is that if you put too much money, it is not fun. If the bet is too large, it gets too pressury.
I think it depends. I mean, you know, and I think what large is varies by person. You know, again, it's what I'm looking at is what's covering my travel expenses.
Sure.
That's all I'm looking at.
How would you say you have?
Go ahead.
How would you say you've done in the past? What percentage of? Well, hold on. First, how many super matches have you had?
Your guess is good as mine. Like, I wish I kept track. I mean, it's probably close to 200.
No, it's got to be more than 200.
I mean, well, you got to remember, I've been doing this 20 years. Like, my first 7-8 years, like, I didn't really have super matches. I mean, like, some of the first super matches I remember, like Mac Telly back in like 2010, where Neil Pickup said it was the worst arm wrestling match ever.
The double kings move.
Like, on both under the table, like Dave Chafee and what's his name in that match. But I would say from, you know, 2013 on, like, I probably had at least 7 or 8 matches a year. And I know last year, like, I posted my record or something. Like, I want to say I had 20 matches last year or something like that. And I know this year I've had about 10 or 11 so far, and I have like 10 more before the end of the year. But percentage?
What would you say you've won?
I mean, ever, I want to say it's probably maybe about 60%. But recently, I would say it's probably about 80 or 85%.
Okay.
Because, I mean, this year, I mean, okay, like Easton McCormick beat me. Scott Posen beat me. Like, those were left-handed matches. And then I lost that match in Canada, but that was like, or not in Canada, against the Canadian in New York. But it was a fill-in match because I was supposed to pull Therian, and like that never happened because of the whole passport thing. And then right-handed, I lost one match last week, 3-2. That was a really good match. And I lost one match to Trevor Ensfield, and that was a really good match. So those are, I mean, like, if I'm forgetting something, like, forgive me, but those are the only losses that I remember this year. And like the rest were all wins. And again, I'm only talking about super matches, not tournaments.
Sure. Nobody has more losses than me in tournament arm wrestling.
Oh, I do terrible in tournaments, relatively.
Me too.
Like, I'll be the first to admit it. You know, I've lost to guys in tournaments that I've beat 3-0 in super matches, some multiple times.
Yeah, it's a whole nother format, and that's what caused us to design the Flo Arm format. Was it really sucks when you can't get that second chance at the guy that flashed you, or you hung on a little too long. You just didn't try what you planned to do, and now you're completely fucked. So,
right,
it's Pops says, Tim, not to bring it up, but you're due for an oil change. I can see the sticker.
No, I just gotta a different car, so I think I'm good for a while on that.
That's what you do when it's time for an oil change? Just get a new car.
No, I just needed a new car anyway.
Oh.
The other one had a lot of miles on it.
Where are you from, Tim? I don't think people really know because you're all over the place.
I grew up in the Philadelphia suburbs in Pennsylvania on the East Coast. So I grew up there, childhood, college, all that. And then I lived briefly in Denver, Colorado for about 3.5 years from 2007 to 2010. And then I moved back to Philadelphia, lived there for 7 more years. And then in 2018, I moved to the western part of Pennsylvania, the Pittsburgh area, and I've been living here now ever since.
Straight out of Pennsylvania your whole life?
Yeah, except for that 3-year hiatus that I lived in Denver. Yeah.
Where is I assume you've probably been to almost every tournament in the country. Is there anything you've not hit?
So it was funny because when I lived in Denver, they made a map of like states that I competed in. And back then it was 40, and I think I've hit a couple more. So I'll tell you the ones I haven't. And okay. and like practice, like when I say competed, it was a tour match. So no, obviously Alaska or Hawaii, no Washington State, no Arizona, no Island, because to my knowledge, no tournament even exists there. New Hampshire, I will count because it was a practice, but I had a super match at Badger's Christmas party. So I am going to count New Hampshire. There's one state in the South. I want to say it's Georgia that I've never competed in. And I want to say that's it. I want to say there's only 5. Like every other state, I've at least done one tournament or super match sometime in my career.
I want to talk about something that a lot of people may or may not know. I started arm wrestling in 2012. When I started, there was I wouldn't say a joke, but there was this constant running thing that basically they used to say you stayed in the amateur class for a while. Do you believe ultimately this benefited you in the end? Now here you are.
So I will tell you very honestly what was going on there. So my last amateur event, and I know I'm within a year of this, I want to say it was 2010. It might have been 2011, but it definitely was not after 2011. I'm pretty sure it was 2010, and I won the the amateur class at Denise's USAA event. And I'm gonna just be very honest. My weight was too high.
Yeah, you were pretty fat back then.
I was fat. Like I was not an amateur. I was a pro 176 or 198 that let my weight get out of control to 240 or 245 pounds. And if I would pull my weight, I just would have got creamed. So what I did that was when I eventually decided to start losing all that weight and get in shape and, stop drinking 4 nights a week and going to all those college parties. What?
Getting super fucking jacked is what you meant to say.
Well, I had a lot of weight to lose, though. A lot. Like, I lost 60 pounds before I really, start putting on any size.
Do you feel the casual approach to not pushing your career too hard in the beginning led to success later on or longevity?
I honestly think that the reason for that was just college. Like I wish that earlier on I would have like done things like develop my top roll and hit and like other aspects of my game, because I feel like the longer I've, pulled the way I've always pulled, kind of slow in a hook, the harder it is to try to break out of that and like learn new things. So if I could do anything different, back then, like that's what it would have been. But again, I was like a lot younger and dumber back then too. And kind of just did it for fun. Like I wasn't really that serious about it back then. Like I thought that I was serious about it, but in reality, like, I was just having fun at the tournaments. Like, however I did.
Yeah. What does a man like you go to college and study?
I studied math in college. I studied math, and I kind of fiddled around with engineering a little bit, but I didn't like it. And then, I was a high school math teacher for about 8 years, trig, calculus, and then for a lot of political reasons, like decided it was time to be done with that a couple years ago. Now I'm actually taking some accounting classes online, like at this school that I live by, and getting my MBA in accounting. So hopefully, I'll be looking to start something with that in May next year.
So you're a numbers guy.
Numbers, always been numbers.
Numbers
Yeah.
guy. I failed algebra 1 and quit after that. So
This is a different kind of math, though. It's a lot different. It's more organizational. It's
yeah.
less computational.
Do
So
you feel any of this carries over to arm wrestling? I know, in like if we were playing pool, a lot of math. And
I would say you could argue maybe like geometry does a little bit, but no, not any of the. If anything, the numbers get in my own head because I'm like looking at people's airy scores and like common opponents and overthinking how I'm going to fool somebody in a match. You know.
Yeah, I could see
And I
that.
think, you got to do some of that. Like, you got to do your homework in a match. But I think if you overthink it, too, that, like, that's no good because you'll get up there. And, like, if somebody does something you're not expecting, you're not going to really be ready for it.
Is there anybody smarter in arm wrestling than you in math?
I mean, there's a few people that are, like, really good at math. I mean, I know Corey is really good at math. Like, he built the whole Aries thing. He's like a programmer. But, it's not really something that I talk about a whole lot because, most arm wrestlers, like, can't stand math. I mean, they're, most of them do more kind of like blue collar work or, not all, but, I would say 70% or more. So they don't really want to talk about math or, anything.
Your average arm wrestler can probably barely do division. I'm going to put that out there. Probably barely do division. In fact, if it's 2-digit numbers, they probably can't divide it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, and again, it's a generalization because Roman Moore moved to Minnesota. Like, he was one of my training partners here for a while, and like he majored in like medical quantum physics or something. So, I mean, there are definitely exceptions to this in the sport. There's lawyers. I mean, there's, very, professional people in the sport as well.
Are there any really good guys with good like that though? I don't think there are.
Well, Todd Hutchins is an engineer.
Yeah.
I mean, he's very intelligent.
The problem is engineer is such a broad term, I feel like, that it's hard to understand what that actually means. Are you a structural engineer?
I don't know exactly what he does.
Yeah.
You know, but if he's an engineer, he's got to be intelligent, you know?
Yeah, he's got to be. And I knew you were going to say Toddzilla. I know you're going to say Bob Brown. But when you said lawyers and shit, I'm like, there are some, but they all suck. Almost everybody.
Brian Johnson's a lawyer. He doesn't suck.
Ryan Johnston's a lawyer.
Yeah, he's a lawyer.
Yeah, it's just.
And he's pretty good. I mean, he was nationally ranked, you know, in like the 185s.
It's just so interesting to me to see intellects involved in arm wrestling. Not that you can't be, but you just think of it as a typical, front force kind of thing.
Right.
It's one of them things where I'm always surprised when some guy's super smart behind closed doors.
Well, nobody would ever think, like, that didn't know me or was hanging out with me, that, like, you know, I had kind of that other side to me. Because I don't show that. I don't show that in, like, any of my social interaction, you know?
Yeah, you're better than me. I'd be trying to flex math problems on every dummy I met. Yeah, it's an interesting career you've had, man. I'll tell you what, there's very few people that have taken the path you've taken in arm wrestling. You know, I don't know.
In terms of the super matches, or in terms of?
In terms of just the super matches, the traveling, and the just chasing the single one-on-one format so fucking hard. You've got to have more super matches.
A lot of people say things like, you know, I don't want to travel like this far to this event, or like just go to this event, like just to pull one person. And I'm like, yeah, but that's the whole point. Like, I want to find out if I can beat that person, or like I'm after their ranking, or maybe they're the one calling me out. Like, you know, to me, that's just more exciting than, like, you know, a traditional format. And it's like, you know, if there's somebody else there that's worth pulling, then in a couple more months, then I can set up a match with them. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I look at it, you know?
Yeah. I like it
but
when
I do my best if I focus on like a single opponent per day. You know, now there's exceptions to that. Nationals is fun. Worlds is fun. You know, I'm going to go to the East versus West event in Florida, and I mean, that's a tournament, you know, but that's kind of different. Those are like monumental level events that are worth going to, like, in and of itself.
That East versus West tournament will not be monumental.
Tell him, Brandon.
Era Bachman Classic, the Saturday before will be.
Okay.
If you want to arm wrestle Friday at 2 o'clock, go to that. You want part of $3,000, come to the Harley dealership August 3rd.
We're going to keep this nice and PG.
I want to ask you a couple questions before we wrap it up, Tim, about some of your opponents. Hardest super match you've ever been in your life?
Cole Casper or Ethan Mercer, left-handed. I gotta go with probably Ethan Mercer, left-handed, last year. Like, I was blown up for hours after that match. Like, it was intense.
The biggest single win of your career?
You know what? I honestly think that was that guy for Ilya Saladov, right-handed, in the WAL in the 165 class. Believe it or not. Back in 2015.
It's a beast.
Yeah.
Last question. What is in the future for Tim Lewis? What's on the radar?
So I got about, 8 or 9 matches left coming up this year. I don't want to go through all of them, but I am pulling Cole Casper again in August in Minnesota. I'm pulling James Kite, which is going to be really good at the end of July. And I'm also in a 198 left round robin coming up in Chicago. And then I'm going to go to Worlds in Greece in October, probably do the 210 class, and then Loray's tournament in December, his like big invitation. But as far as after that, I talk to a lot of people that I train with. And I really want to take a different approach, starting in January in 2025. And,
What is
this
it?
might really sound, different coming from me, but, I think where I'm at is like, I'm really, really close to kind of breaking into that, top 10, top 15. I did there for a little bit. I think I was as high as 13 on the left arm. And we're only talking about left arm here, by the way. But, I really want to see if like I can do what it takes to like really get into that top 10 or like even near that top 5. And, what I realized in order to do that, is, I'm really going to have to go back to the drawing board and like fill in some of the holes in my game. And it's probably going to involve like training more and like competing less and like, taking less matches. So, I'm probably not going to really be doing, as many, like if any super matches at all in the next, you know, first 5 6 months of 2025. Like I do plan on going to the Arnold's, but my goal is really going to be focused on training and really trying to see that if I can get like a really high level match and bust into that top 10.
Hey, Tim, are you familiar with Arnold's this next year? How
I
they're working
am.
that?
I know High Five is doing it, and it's going to be different because they're going to have left arm this
Yeah,
year as well as right, and they're starting to announce qualifiers, but like it's still like a work in progress.
yeah.
A lot of them in the Northeast have been announced, and I know Arizona has one, but I know it's still a work in progress.
Well, breaking news: Flo Arm Combat has 2.
You
One
do?
in
When are
Florida,
they?
the only one in Florida and the southern region, and we will be in the Indiana, Michigan area as well. So we got to
Do
get
you
you.
know? Do you have dates on those or no?
The dates are tentative. We're going to adjust our
Okay.
schedule. I want to
But
maximize it.
you're gonna have one in Indiana as well.
Absolutely, yes. One in Indiana and one in Florida. So
Okay.
we will give a heads up. I would love to see a lot of these Florida guys. Hell, I'd love to see you down here busting their ass left hand. Especially, it's going to be the first year the Arnold's ever got the left hand. Big production, high five arm wrestling, trying to blow things up. And I love Denise. But sometimes, a revision gives a fresh set of situations.
Yeah,
So,
and it required them to make a few changes to the format, but that's okay. You know what I mean? Like all that matters is that we're back.
yeah. Yeah. And now we've got the Olympia and the Arnold. So we didn't have these two at one point. They didn't exist both in hand. So
Right.
I'm looking forward to it. I want to thank you for hopping on, Tim. And I want to encourage anybody that wants their ass whooped left-handed, just call him out. He will fly to you, take your lunch money, and send you home crying. He's done it to people before. So,
All righty.
appreciate it, brother. Thank you for having me on, man.
Yeah.
We got some of the Puerto Rico guys. They just left the chat. Big tournament out in Puerto Rico, Royal Rumble 2.0. Big supporters of the Puerto Rico Arm Wrestling League. No Team Arm Wrestling is hosting it. Massive super match series. If you don't know, there's some stars out in Puerto Rico. And these guys are only getting better and better. So we have a Flo Arm event this weekend. We have a Puerto Rico event this weekend. A lot of arm wrestling, June 29th. A lot of fun stuff going down. John, you got to turn your camera sideways. You're going to give me a seizure, man. He's worse at computers than me.
We lose them.
Yeah, all right. And we got Adam on here. I had to kick John off. Can't deal with that sideways camera. What up, Adam? How you doing, brother? You don't have any microphone attached to your system right now. So Adam, his voice is gone after the last whooping I put on him last time I was in Puerto Rico. He has not said a word since. He has never spoken since that day. Until he beats me, he is not allowed to talk. So we'll just give him a good round of applause. Adam Hernandez. No, my man right here with No Team Arm Wrestling. Do you not have? We got to get you a mic on here. Kick him off.
Can you hear me? Am I working? Can I talk?
Yeah, you could talk.
Okay. All right. My mic is working.
That presidential debate's got everybody distracted.
That's what it is. So I guess you let it out the bag, huh? About Florida?
Yeah.
Oh,
Got to. There's no better publicity than right there.
Agreed.
Right there. This partnership with Pro Gear is yielding many, many, many fruits for us. A lot of you guys in Florida, you will be prospering from this. It will not be me. I am not going to win the Arnold unless lightning hits me. One of you guys might. And it's our job to bring that opportunity as close to you guys as we can. Me and Mikey have a vision of a massive Ohio trip come late February.
Yeah.
Going to the Arnold, if we did it right, we could even get, all our qualified guys.
Yeah. So the cool thing for those of you that don't know, the way the qualifiers work, it's actually top 3 in every class, both right and left hand, get invitations. So there's a very high likelihood we're going to have a big team going with us from, to represent our Florida boys. So yeah, me and Brandon absolutely want to bring all of y'all, all our top 3 guys. Let's do it big. Let's show them what Florida's about.
Yeah, and listen, guys, it is very easy to be cheap and just keep the money, not buy these. These opportunities are expensive. They cost money. It is not a, hey, let me get that and it's yours. No, these cost cold, hard cash coming straight out of pocket to bring the opportunity here. And thus we know it's going to grow Flo Arm. I just seen we had Queen of Florida Arm Wrestling, Sarah Bachman, enters the chat. She will also be the namesake of our big tournament, August 3rd, the Sarah Bachman Classic, the first annual. I know that she's been working a lot behind the scenes to get some of the best females in the country to come on out and attend. This is going to be.
We got some big names. We got some real big names. We haven't released them yet, but there's some heavy hitters coming in for the females.
You need to stop telling me details because I'm going to tell you, if you didn't say that, I was going to tell the whole world everything.
Yeah, so here's what I'll say. Just make sure you bring your autograph pens because these are going to be some heavy hitter females.
If Barbora's coming, I want the super match personally. Me versus Barbora at the Bachman Classic. Let's go.
Yeah. We also locked in a host hotel too. We posted about that today.
Tell me about that. I didn't quite get the details. I seen that was just today.
Yeah. We got really good rates for everybody too. So anybody needs a hotel, we're hooking it up there. Sarah's working hard behind the scenes on a lot of stuff. The venue, I don't remember if we even talked about this, but the venue is sick. It's at Harley. We're gonna have everything from drinks, a live DJ, badass stage, great backdrop. It's gonna be, in my opinion, probably the event of Florida this year.
And this will be hosted in conjunction with Boom Productions, Sean Hancock coming over. Jeff commented in here, paid travel expenses. This is a very important part to remind these guys of. The winners, to get to the Arnold, you will need to qualify top 3 at the qualifier. If you happen to win the Arnold, you will be guaranteed an all expense paid trip to the High Five event as one of the athletes, super match in the pay-per-view, paid trip, airfare, lodging, all this. So
yeah, I've heard such good things too about how they treat their athletes, top notch. Like you said, all expense paid. It's not just the super match, but it's a whole experience you're going to be getting out of this.
Yeah, and I'll tell you that there hasn't been, if you had to compare everything, that High Five Knuckles Up 3, maybe, that was probably the greatest production I've seen in arm wrestling.
I agree.
And that's even including the WAL ESPN coverage.
Yeah,
so
that says a lot.
Yeah, it was good, man. That purple lighting, there was something to it.
Mm-hmm.
I was at I know it sounds crazy, but I was at church this weekend, and the way that they do have the light fog in the back and the lighting, I don't know why we're all not doing that in arm wrestling. That's a small thing production that makes it look like such a good show. And I feel like Knuckles Up already nailed it. They've already got a lot of the aesthetics that we've been looking for. I personally like the super match series that arm wrestling is going, and I'm a proponent, and I don't care really if people agree with it, but the Americans are the stars. I do not believe that these Europeans are the people that are everyone's tuning in to see. It's fun to watch Hugo, whatever, Skloskova, whatever their name is, right? But I'll much rather watch Toddzilla. I'll much rather watch Travis Bagent. I'll much rather watch Chris Chandler. So for me, the Americans are the stars, and I really like the fact that the Americans, the North Americans, seem to be kind of the focal point of a lot of the high five. I know they still have. We're not trying to exclude no foreigners.
Sure.
I'm just the type of guy to water my own grass before I export water to the other.
I agree.
I like anybody that really pushes for, American arm wrestling and giving these guys an opportunity and a platform to do something a little bit bigger. So the one thing is with Flo Arm is if we're not able to pull that off ourselves, we're going to join up whoever can.
Yeah.
Right? So Knuckles Up definitely seems where it's at. To me, that is the premier North American league or super match pay-per-view platform.
I agree.
And I think we should have brokered a deal where I got a match, right? That I forgot to throw part in on the negotiations.
Hey, win the Arnolds, bro.
Yeah, come on. I got to get better, bro. My fucking career's.
You're on the way back up.
Chance of living through 10 Boeing jet crashes. Fucking Arnold, okay?
Hey, I'll tell you what. You qualify, I'll qualify. We'll make a deal.
That's fair. Forgive me for whoever I cheat in the bracket and take third place from. I'm kidding. This weekend, are we going to be using Aries?
Yes. Yeah, we're all set. We're good to go. I got everything dialed in. I've been working real close with Corey. It's all set. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be using it.
Yeah. So we've talked about it for about 3 months now and have been able to enact it due to simply my lack of computer knowledge and ability to pull it off. But Mikey is the expert with the bracket program. As of this event, all of you guys' events should be getting broadcast to the Aries, so it adds to your Aries score and hopefully builds up to some Florida guys in the Super 64 series. Anything else we are skipping over on here? I feel like I fast-paced into the show and I'm forgetting some good shit. King of Florida, Puerto Rico, July 20th. We are going to have the third invasion. These Americans are coming over to whoop these Puerto Ricans again. We've done it twice. Both times it came down to the last match. The first time we went 7-6 in the super match count, and the next time we went 6-5. So they are no slouches. They have lost the team matchup twice, but they pull their weight. And I'll tell you, when you get out there, I know you haven't been yet, Mikey, but when you get out there, it feels like we're going to stomp them. It feels like it's going to be 10-0. And you quickly realize these guys can rally and get the crowd. They can get this energy built up so much that even despite us probably having higher caliber arm wrestlers, they'll still be 5-5, 4-5 with us.
Yeah.
They got a lot of fight in them.
Yeah.
You know?
I've been talking a lot with the guys over there too. They've been super welcoming. The pictures they're sending of even outside of arm wrestling, the beaches and the travel experience. I'm excited to see Puerto Rico for the first time. I'm also excited to have my first super match. Like you said,
let me tell you, it does not look like that.
Oh, they lied?
It's 1,000 times better.
It's better.
It's even prettier. The option's even clearer.
Yeah. You got John coming back in? Yeah,
I do. It looks like Adam was able to source a microphone. Let's pop him back in. Let's see. Adam, how you doing?
You guys heard me now?
You are allowed to speak. Yes.
What's up, guys? Sorry for the trouble. No, we're ready. We're ready. Royal Rumble this weekend, the 29th in Cali Rican is next. And then we have the July 20 event in Florida, which is going to be crazy, by the way. So we are ready. We're ready.
I want you to plug the Royal Rumble for me if you can. Can you run down some of the matches just so we can give I want to give Kong a little shout out on here.
The Kong is not participating on that as well.
He's organizing it though, correct?
No, I am the one who is organizing. Kong is helping me.
Okay, so forgive me. Kong stole all the credit. This is Adam. Adam is running the show. Kong, you should be ashamed of yourself. You're better than that. No, tell us some of the good matches. Kong's got an ass whooping coming August 31st. Me versus Kong. That is on
exactly.
the table. But, tell us about some of the stuff this weekend you guys got going on.
So basically, this Royal Rumble is basically for the newest guy. This is the second one I made. So maybe the guys will be participating on that super match. You will not recognize them, but they're pretty good to be like new guys. So we have Juan Munoz versus Eliezer, which they are lightweight guys. They will fight for the right hand. We have the Panda. The Panda is the one which is going to participate there too. He's going against Jesse. Jesse is now part of Jonathan team. Jonathan has his own team. It's called Manatee. They're from Manatee, from the north. So Kenny is facing him with both arms. We have the main event is gonna be G.I. Joe. You know G.I. Joe already is the one which Mike is gonna face on July. He's gonna face Reno. Reno is an older guy, but he's super strong. I bet you guys see the videos of him. So they're going on both hands too. We have 11 super matches, and I think all of them are pretty good.
Reno. You're saying the Rhino.
Yep.
Hey, you're saying the Rhino versus G.I. Joe.
Correct.
Yeah. You said the Reno, man. These guys, the White Rhino. He's ready.
So we have that too.
Puerto Ricans got the best nicknames you ever heard, Mike.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let me see what I have. What else I have?
Those two, I'm going Panda and I'm going G.I. Joe on that.
But Panda is going with both hands, left and right. Also, G.I. Joe is going left and right with Reno.
Rhino.
Yep.
Put some respect on it. What else? Who are you facing, Adam?
No, I'm not. I'm just doing. I'm focusing on the referee stuff. So I'm not participating on this one as well. I'm getting ready for September now.
Love it. How many matches are there at the Royal Rumble?
I have 11.
11.
Yeah.
Is it all guys from the island, or do you have any travelers?
No, all of them are locally from here, from different clubs. So yeah, they all from here, from Puerto Rico.
Tell me, I have a question. Where the hell did you learn that flop wrist press in New York? Where did you learn that? Why did you not do that?
I practiced that a lot, but hey, man, I'm a rookie, so I just trying to, improve some new stuff on my arm. Try to do some different movements.
It looked very dangerous. It looked like you smacked. I didn't know you had that press. When I seen you fly into it in New York,
I didn't know that it worked that well. That's why I never used it, but this time worked perfectly for me.
Yeah, so that it seems to be the one move that works very well against me is the press. I have a hard time with pressers, so I'm glad you did not learn that until last month. Thank you for that, by the way.
Yeah, no, thank you for the info because I'm gonna get that strong.
Yeah, except I'm never gonna arm wrestle you again. I'm like Antonio. I won and I'm gone.
Come on, man, don't be a chicken.
All right, I want to ask you a few questions real quick before we wrap it up. Greatest match of your short arm wrestling career so far, Adam?
The best match. Mm, I will say with you because you was one of the first international guys that I faced, and also the guy from New York, because he's also pretty good level. He was smacking everybody in different tournaments there. So I think those two are the more important matches for me.
Okay, name 3 arm wrestlers that you enjoy watching.
Worldwide.
Worldwide. 3 favorites you like to watch.
Okay. Devon Lara for sure, because the hype and all the mental game he brings to the tables. Um, Alex Kurdesha is one of my favorites, top athletes. I also text with him a lot. I'm trying to bring him to Puerto Rico maybe in the future. So let's see how that goes. Kurdesha, yep.
Y'all ain't got a car or a building big enough on the island.
I can make it happen, man. I can make it happen. I will rent a bus for that man.
I'll pick him up in that van I had out there in college.
No, he wouldn't fit there for sure.
No, he too big.
Yeah, and the third one, let me see, Alex Kurdesha, Devon Lara. I think Morozov is the third one. He's super impressive, and he's too young.
Next question: the greatest arm wrestler to ever come from the island of Puerto Rico, in your opinion?
That I know, I will say Joe Cortez. But I will say Joe Cortez on his best shape, which was in the past, not now, but he in the past was crazy strong. He's now trying to get better because I think he has an injury on his right arm and he's trying to slowly recover from it. So he's not 100% now, but Joe Cortez is he's serious, man. Beside Joe, I would say Noel Nunez because he's super incredible. He's facing all in North America and he's putting the flag up.
Hey, and who's gonna be prettier than Noel on that whole line?
He's a model. He's a model.
Exactly. Last question. What the hell are you Puerto Ricans eating that makes you so strong?
Rice and bean, motherfucker.
I love it. Guys, anybody that does not know these guys, they are insane, crazy characters. It's like a whole island. It's like Florida on a small island. So support these guys. Check out No Team Arm Wrestling. Check out the Arm Warriors. Check out all the crazy stuff. Puerto Rico Arm Wrestling League. Their Royal Rumble will go simultaneous with the Armageddon 2 tournament this Saturday. So make sure you give them a support, like and follow their socials. Check out our event this weekend. We're going to be at OB's Lounge. Big sponsor of Flo Arm. Absolute making things happen for us over there. And get ready for the King of Florida, Puerto Rico edition. So a lot of collaboration between Florida, Puerto Rico. You guys are going to see, due to this marriage of leagues, these guys are going to become a household name around here very quickly. And I know they already are. I think everyone in the country knows who Kong is now.
For sure.
So A lot of these guys, a lot of good arm wrestlers: Eric Martinez, Miguel Rosa, Adam, Jonathan, Kong, Panda. I mean, all these guys are my friends. They're absolute dope people. Everything you heard about the police holding you up and bribing them for a traffic ticket is not true. They love you and treat you like a king if you go down there.
That's correct.
Support these guys. Check our stuff out, man. We got a lot of stuff going on. Florida Arm Wrestling Combat on Facebook, FLO Arm Combat on Facebook, and make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. We are trying to hit 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate you having you guys on here. I think this was easily one of our biggest streams we've had, and definitely one of the craziest. I will see you boys this weekend.
Take care, guys.